Hello, all you Republicans, Democrats, and Independents out there. My name is Alexander Arceri. I am 18 years old, and I am a Republican from the state of New York. This is my video going over John McCain's speech at the Republican National Convention. I just got finished, so bear with me. I put another video out there yesterday of Sarah Palin's speech. If you like, I'll put the link right over there. So let's get right to it. One of the first points that John McCain made during his speech was that he was going to win the trust of undecided voters, and he intends to earn it. Now, I'm an undecided voter. I'm a Republican, but I have not made my decision yet of who I'm going to vote for. Now, I know I live in New York. My state's going to go Democratic no matter what. And, that doesn't mean that I'm absolutely going to vote for John McCain just for the fuck of it, or I'm just going to vote for Barack Obama because it doesn't make a difference. Because all of our votes matter. We all should vote. Everyone should get out there and vote. So, yeah, I would like to see some concrete examples of how he's going to earn it, but he didn't put anything out there. So, that was one negative for me about the speech. Second point I want to make is that there were a lot of hecklers, at the Republican National Convention during his speech. Now, I'm sure there were hecklers at Barack Obama's speech, but honestly, the stadium was so fucking big that you probably couldn't have heard him. Anyway, so back to the hecklers. Yeah, so there was one Iraq War veteran there who threw up a sign. Don't really remember what it says. I'm pretty sure it's something about John McCain not supporting Iraq veterans. There was also a woman being dragged out, and if you look closely, I think that on her shirt, as she's being dragged out, you could see pro-choice on her shirt. So I'm pretty sure she might have been a pro-choice advocate. Might be wrong. Maybe I'm just assuming, but you never know. So yeah, they were constantly interrupting during the speech. Shouting something around, and then the crowd would go USA, USA, and try and overbear the noise that they were making. And then John McCain actually made a joke. Yeah, go figure that one out. I was as shocked as you were. We don't expect funny from John McCain. He busts this out. He goes, "Please don't be diverted by the brown noise and the static." Yeah, that was pretty funny. Anyway, another point I want to make is when they went to a shot of Sarah Palin and her husband, they didn't show her family was there. Now, I found that to be quite interesting, considering the fact that yesterday during Sarah Palin's speech, they really focused on family and on the common middle class American, and it seems like they kind of shifted from I'm a middle class American to vote for me. Because I'm a war veteran and I have experience when it comes to dealing with foreign policy. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. That might be something very smart on the Republicans' part. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that her family wasn't there. So I'll leave it at that. Next point I want to make is that he said that the lives of struggling Americans matter. Yeah, go figure. Of course, there's lives of struggling Americans matter. A lot of struggling Americans are, of course, going to vote for Barack Obama. Because he's putting a lot out there about change and helping the lower class. One really good suggestion that John McCain said he was going to make. He said he was going to increase the tax exemption for children. For every child a parent has. Right now it's $3,500. He says he's going to double it to $7,000. Thought that was a very smart idea on his part. So he had a little bit out there to try and help the lower class Americans, which he desperately needs because that's pretty much their votes are pretty much completely going to Barack Obama. Next point I want to make is that he said a quote. He said, "Advance warning to big spending, me first, country second, the country second crowd." He says change is coming. Now, once again, he said this, and then he really didn't go through with it and explain completely what he was going to do. Now, he did make some key points about what was going to happen and what was going to change. And before he did that, though, he talked about with the struggling Americans. He gave a lot of examples of different families. People from Minnesota and people from Pennsylvania, and he made a really interesting comment. He said that workers who lose their jobs and then go to temporary jobs, that they were going to pay for the pay difference for these workers. Now, I find that very interesting because there's been a lot of layoffs lately. There's a lot of people who are unemployed or seeking temporary jobs. That's going to be a lot of money. Now, I'd like to see where he's going to get the tax dollars from there and see how he works his budget to actually keep that promise. So anyway, back to the things that he said he would change. Now, I'm going to call this the boos and the yays because, if you watch the speech, you'll know that this is a point where he said one thing that he stands for, and they said what Barack Obama stands for. And obviously, since they're surrounded by Republicans, anytime he said what he believed in, they went yay, and anytime they said what Barack Obama says, they said boo. And so first one is that he said, "I will keep taxes low and cut them where I can, whereas my opponent will raise them." And obviously went yay, and then they went boo. Next one, he said, I will create new markets and goods and services. I'm sorry, I'll create new markets to goods and services. And then he said his opponent will nod and, yay and boo once again. Another one, he says, I will cut taxes I will cut taxes for businesses so that they will grow and that jobs will increase. And of course, they went yay. And then they said, whereas Barack Obama would like to increase taxes, and of course, I went boo again. Where am I going with this? Yay and boo. There you go. Next part. He said that he was going to find new jobs that won't go away. He said that we are going to find jobs for these Americans that will not only last for them, but for their children's and generations to come. And then once again, he didn't give an example of what kind of jobs he was talking about. Now, maybe this is a promise that he still needs to look into. I don't know. But once again, another thing that John McCain said, that he didn't really elaborate on how he was going to do it or what he was meaning. Now, still, great promise. Love to see him go through with that. If he became the president, love to see, what's going to happen with that. Another really touching moment is when he says, I know war and I hate it. As we know, John McCain is the Vietnam War veteran, POW camp survivor. He went into the speech about when he was in the POW camp and how he thought he was a big man, and that he was kind of independent, and he talked about how his arms got broken, he couldn't feed himself, and that American soldiers that he got put in the cell with would actually feed him. And he also talked about a part where they offered him to go home, and they taught him in the military that those who arrive first get to go home first. And so he actually said that since there was people who got there first, that he wouldn't leave, and then they really beat him up bad, and he actually broke. And he actually said that they broke him. That was really touching, because he's going for that I'm a strong American, I'm a strong army. And then he says they broke me. And then he went into how the man in his cell next to him said, stand up for your country once again and be an American. And that was a really touching speech. You saw what lady with one tear rolling down her eye. Of course they found that shot. So many Republicans, you knew they were going to find that. And he said, well, one of the last things I'm going to leave you with was that he said, nothing brings me more happiness in life than to serve a cause greater than myself. Obviously, he's putting out there that he wants to shake up Washington. He wants to serve America. One of the key points is saying that the reason he picked Sarah Palin was that they were going to go to Washington and that they were going to shake up Washington. And I hope they do that. I hope if they got elected that they're going to follow through all these promises. Just like I hope that Barack Obama, all the promises that he made during his speech, if he got elected, he's going to follow through with them. So I'm going to be personally looking towards the debates. I'm not sure when they are. I'm pretty sure they're a couple weeks away. I'm going to find the schedule, and I am going to put videos up there on them. So please do subscribe, leave your comments, and I will reply to them. Have a great day.